Oh, what a segment we had next.
Oh, my God. Allow me. Brutus the Barber Beefcake is interviewed by Vince McMahon. And we have been watching a lot of Saturday Night's Main Events, so we've seen a fair share of Brutus the Barber. But I was unaware because we had not been watching Raw, because it didn't exist. But anyway, I guess it's Raw 4, right? So anyway, he comes out, and I think nothing of it until it is noted that you have been gone for 3 years. Because it was, in fact, in 1990 that Brutus the Barber Beefcake had his face destroyed in a parasailing accident, and they thought he was going to die, and they had to reconstruct his face and put plates in it and the whole 9 yards. And quite frankly, they did a fucking hell of a job.
They did.
Because, for a guy that literally had his skull crushed, I mean, he looked exactly the same as he did in the 80s, basically.
And wrestled.
Yeah.
For years.
So he comes out, and he starts out by telling this story about the hardships that he has overcome. And he explains that he had to put his mother in the ground. And
she had cancer, you see.
When he said he put his 85-pound mother who had cancer in the ground, the crowd goes, "Oh." And then he goes, "I had to put my father in the ground. He had a heart attack." The crowd goes, "Oh." And, dude, he's talking about his dead parents. And because the crowd is doing this, "Oh." And there's something about his fucking delivery that I'm like, this is not supposed to be like some fucking comedy segment. Am I the only one that was like, you're telling this like it's a fucking joke?
His delivery was 80s pro wrestler delivery.
Yeah.
As he's telling the true story of the great tragedies he's gone through. Mother died, father died, wife leaves him, takes all his money.
Yeah, then he gets to he goes, "My wife left me, and she took me for everything I had." And everything that he says, he's saying in such a way that it's like it's part of a comedy bit. And so I think the crowd is thinking the same thing because they're going, "Oh," but not in like a really, sympathetic way. It's like it's almost a mocking way.
Yes, they were making fun of him.
So I'm like, what in the fuck is this? Is like the worst segment I've ever seen. And I think he was supposed to be a babyface talking about how he was actually going to like fight for the fans when he came back, right?
That was the plan.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now these sensitive New Yorkers, if you listened closely, you could hear one of them when Brutus took a pause. "Get over it, bro."
God.
Dude, it gets worse than that. When he gets in the details of what happened with the parasailing accident, his face is crushed. His eyeballs don't work because they're in the back of his brain. His ears still worked fine. And he's talking about how he could hear the EMTs in the helicopter, the doctors in the hospital saying he didn't have much of a chance. And he pauses to take a breath, and you actually hear a human being find it in his heart, recorded for posterity here, to shout out, not making this up, "Kill yourself."
Yes. That happened.
God.
So somehow, I don't even know how Brutus kept his composure here. I'd have been slaughtering people.
Here's the thing, Vinny. Here's the thing. And you know this as well as I do about 80s workers. There were a lot of them who were just like, they were gimmicks, right?
Oh, yeah.
They were always on. And I just watched this and I thought, has this guy been on for so long that he can't turn off? So, like, when it's time for him to actually talk about some real-life horrible thing that happened to him, he can't help but tell the story as Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
This was not
so
Ed
it
Leslie.
comes off as a bit.
This is not Ed Leslie.
No, this was Brutus Beefcake telling about Ed Leslie.
This was the Booty Man.
God, this was amazing. Not in a good way.
No. So, the first half of this, I'm sure everything he said was the exact truth or very, very, very close to it. And he explains when he reached out for the hand of God, and instead he found the hand of the Hulkster.
God.
And when they took the bandages
This
off,
is real dialogue.
yeah, and when he took the bandages off, and the first thing he saw was red and yellow, and Hulk told him to.
The first thing he saw after his parasailing accident was the red and yellow.
Of Hulkamania, yes.
Maybe Stephanie was right. We need to fucking write promos for these fuckers.
So Hulk tells him he'll be taken care of. Vince is very concerned, by the way, the liability of this. Should this man get injured again? Should you be wrestling again? And Brutus says, I'm a desperate man. I've got nothing left. Hulkster told me to go for it. After all this suffering, you think a little pain in this ring will make me give up or quit? Not a chance. I have an open contract. I will take on anybody. This segment was revolting.
It was horrible, dude. It was horrible.
So he finishes, and thrown in a commercial, and Bartlett is trying to say something. And Macho Man knows it's Rob Bartlett. He doesn't know exactly what he's going to say, but he knows it's going to be bad, and he just steamrolls on over him. What a terrible moment for Brutus Beefcake. I love that man. I don't want to see him take these risks. We'll be right back. Just would not let Bartlett say whatever he was going to say.